So I used my colored pencil to fill in my my highest value, my lightest one. Now I'm going to my second box. I'm using the same pencil. And the idea here is that we're going to be adding more layers of color. So I'm not pressing very hard. I'm just layering up. And we're going to be talking a lot about layering today and in the subsequent class periods when we're doing our colored pencils, because colored penciling is all about layering up different colors to create different effects, to make things look three-dimensional and give them really vibrant color. Okay, so now I've got my next value up. Now I'm going to move to my third box. And my idea here is just to keep layering over and over until I get a nice even color that's a little bit darker. If you guys want, you can change directions if you fill the whole box and the lines are not too dark. That is a nice way to kind of fade out any obvious strokes. You go in different directions, layering up. So you guys will notice that we are leaving some of the background of the paper showing through on our value scales here. But when we do our final project, like I mentioned earlier, you guys are going to be using black paper. So you're going to have to think in a little bit of a different way. To get your colors to be bright and light, you're going to have to use more layers of light colors. So as you keep layering up for this fourth box, you may notice that the colored pencil starts to get a little bit waxy or even shiny. We call that burnishing. And burnishing means you're creating kind of a smooth, shiny surface because you've added so much pigment and colored pencil to the paper that's actually building up as like a whole new layer over your paper. The colored pencil leads are a mix of a binder that's like a waxy binder and the color. And so as you color, you're going to notice that waxiness building up on your paper. So on this last one, our goal is to get like a really nice, deep, saturated color. With all those layers, you can get such a nice color. Now, if you look at my next boxes, these ones look just like really boring to me. I love the bright, rich colors that you can get by really layering up and building up lots of colored pencil onto your surface. So color mixing, we're going to mix together two primary colors to create a secondary color. Now, if you guys have ever heard of printing and CYMK, who has ever heard of that, CYMK? Anyone? Nobody. Okay. So I'm going to pull out here first my typical primary colors. Okay, so I've got red, yellow, and blue. But when you print almost anything, like your printer at home, if you have a printer, color printers at school, commercially printed items like the newspaper, magazines, they almost all use the colors cyan, which is similar to this sky blue, magenta, yellow, and the K is for black. We don't need that right now though. So if you prefer, you may use these primary colors or the original primary colors. You get to choose. So if you like the look of magenta and cyan better, which I do, that's why I'm giving you this option, you can choose those. Or go for it and just use like the red, blue, and yellow. Your choice. I am going to use, this period, I'm going to use the sky blue, which is the cyan, and the yellow. So I'm going to put the other ones back. And what we're going to do here is start with one primary on one side and one on the other. And first I'm going to layer a medium pressure layer here and through this middle center section. Okay, and then I'm going to use my other one here, my cyan or blue color, and I'm going to bring that over the top of my middle section for the secondary. Now, you guys might have noticed that if you're using blue, depending on which blue you're using, if you're using blue, this one is from my mid-tone group and the yellow is from the high value group. So you really need more yellow in your mix to create a nice screen. I'm going to come back again and put another layer of yellow. Remember, don't press too hard initially. You want to give yourself time to layer up. So hopefully as you do this, you're starting to get a secondary color in the middle. If you squint your eyes, you can probably mix it a little bit with your eyes too and see if you're getting close to the color you want. Alrighty. Okay, how are we doing, guys? We're layering up blue on the left, in through the center section, and then orange. And once again, guys, the blue is a lower value than the orange, so it is like has more strength when you mix the colors together, which means you're probably going to need a little bit more of layers of orange compared to blue to get it to the color that you want. Alright, so as you guys can see, this is starting to get brown here in the middle. Same thing is very likely happening on your paper. Alright, so for my directional lines, I've chosen a group of analogous colors. And I'm going to start off with my blue here, and I'm going to start with some straight lines in the corner. I'm going to go about 1/3 of the way across my box. Okay, then I'm going to pick my next color, which for me happens to be blue. No, aqua green, whatever that is. Okay, so I'm trying to make my line go all the way across the box. So you don't want like short lines like that. We want a line that goes from one side of the box to the other. Okay, and then I'll use my last color here in this last third. Now right now this does not look that fabulous, right? Because this is our first layer. We gotta layer up more layers of these colors and overlap them so that they gradually blend into each other. So I'm going to overlap my blue into my aqua green and my aqua green into my blue. You know, I don't really like the look of this yellow green in here. I think I'm going to switch my greens. Not to that one. I'm going to switch to my regular green. I think it'll look better. So I'm just going to layer over that. So keep those layers coming. We want to try to eliminate all white from the box. We want to cover up with bright color all the white. So hopefully you're starting to see a nice blend, kind of a gradient right from one color to the next. Keeping those lines in one direction, getting rid of the white paper showing. Is anyone's hand getting tired yet? This is my second hour of colored penciling. So we could probably keep layering up on this for a really long time, but we've got to move to our next box, which is scumbling. So we're going to use the same set of colors here in our scumbling box. So we're going to do the same gradient using a different technique. So what I'm going to do is start off same color in the corner with my blue, but instead of drawing lines, I'm going to do kind of like a little round scribble. So everybody make sure that you're looking up at my screen right now so you can see the technique. A scumbling is just using round loops, kind of a layered scribbling. And you want to start off, you know, with a lighter pressure, and then you're going to continue layering up just like we did with the lines. Scumbling is a really nice technique if you don't like the look of the lines and you want it to look more soft. So once again, I'm going to fill up about 1/3 or so of my paper with my first color. And then I'm going to start scumbling with my next color. So just nice loops. Keep your hand flowing. That's great, buddy. Glad you're scumbling with me. And once I've got my first layer on there, I'm just going to go back and continue adding layers. Adding more and more pigment onto my paper. You want to try to keep that gradual change from one color to the next. You can see it definitely has a different look to it. Even though I'm using the same exact colors, you can see just by applying them in a different way, you're going to get a different stroke or a different style. I want you guys to think about which of these methods do you like better. Because when you do your colored pencil drawing on the black paper, you're going to get to choose. I'm not going to tell you what style to use. You're going to get to choose your preferred style. So it's a good thing to think about right now. So this is looking like a pretty nice gradual change, but my paper's still not completely covered. I can still see white. I can still see white. And so I would continue to build this up, but for the sake of time, we are going to move on. So the next one we'll do together is burnishing. So burnishing is continuing to build up more layers and more layers until that waxy surface appears. If you want to switch to another color right now because you're getting tired of the ones you've been using, go for it. I'm going to switch to purple or violet. And you're basically just going to keep on layering until you get to that nice waxy surface. You've probably burnished before and you didn't even know you were doing it, right? You guys probably remember coloring really hard with a colored pencil and it getting shiny. So now you know there's an actual word that goes along with it. It is a legitimate art technique. The nice thing about burnishing too is it really gets you that nice rich color. Like a lot of you are probably used to just colored penciling like this and stopping at maybe like something that looked like this. But I really want to encourage you guys to completely cover up all white. So you really are showing those beautiful rich colors. And I think I mentioned yesterday, if you have high-end colored pencils, you can get some really, really rich, beautiful colors. These Crayolas are pretty decent, though. They do a pretty good job. Gotta sharpen here. So when you guys are doing your final project on the black paper, you can use like a dark color like this violet to show your dark values. So this is a pretty dark color, right? And I could even add black to it if I wanted to make it even darker, but just on its own, violet is a really low value. Okay,